What's up, Not Avenue? My name is Ashley Zimbauer, and I work with what's called Fellowship of Christian Athletes, also known as FCA. Some of you guys might know about it because of Pastor Albert, but what I'm doing here making this video is I'm a missionary, and in order for me to do FCA, I have to raise funds in order to share the gospel on public school campuses. So I have the privilege of serving at 4 schools, one being Kennedy, which I know there are a lot of you guys who might go there. The second one is Cypress. The third is Los Alamitos, and then 4 is Pacifica. So I don't know if any of you guys go there. I know that I have some student leaders who are at Not Avenue, but for me being a missionary, what we get to do with FCA essentially is we get to share the gospel on these public schools during lunchtime, where kids come to what's called huddles. You can be an athlete, you don't have to be an athlete. And at these huddles, we provide pizza and just, little goodies. We provide Bibles if people don't have them, and just different resources that we bring every single time we have a huddle, which are usually 2 times a month. And so with that, that's money that I have to fundraise in order to get kids to come and hear the gospel, essentially. And I couldn't do it without some of my student leaders, the student leaders who serve on the leadership team for FCA. They get to help me, and they get to serve their fellow classmates and teachers and coaches at their schools to be able to share the gospel, to share the good news of what Jesus has done for us, right? And what Jesus commands us in Matthew 28:19-20 is to go out and make disciples of all nations, teaching them all that Jesus has commanded. And I tell my students this all the time, is that they're not going outside of the country to be able to share the gospel maybe, but God has placed them individually at these schools where they can go out and make disciples of their classmates or their teachers or their coaches or their teammates, whatever it is. You guys have the opportunity to make disciples, but that requires you guys to have an understanding of what Jesus has truly done for us. And that's why it's called the good news, because it's the best news ever, right? We were saved out of our sin, out of darkness, and out of eternal separation because of Jesus's death and resurrection. And from that, we have life and eternal life, and we have access to an abundant life here on earth. So the vision and the mission is to share that good news, to share that life, that eternal life, and the abundant life that Jesus offers us. To do that through the use of athletics and coaches and athletes. But again, you don't have to be an athlete. I have a lot of kids who are on my leadership teams who are in show choir and dance and all these different things that people might not consider athletics. And so it's open for everyone and anyone. The gospel is not exclusive. It's inclusive to all people. We are to go to all people and share this good news. And so it's my privilege as a missionary for Fellowship of Christian Athletes to be able to do that on these public school campuses, and also get to mentor and disciple the students who decide to be student leaders for my schools. And I know there's Chloe and Sophia who are our leaders at Cypress. And so if you guys happen to be interested, you guys want to be able to serve the Lord on your school campus out of those 4 schools that I mentioned, if you know that you want to serve the Lord in that way, and you want to share the good news of Jesus Christ to other people, to your classmates, coaches, whoever it is on your campus, please reach out to Pastor Albert, and then he'll reach out to me, and we'll get connected so that we can just come alongside one another and be able to execute the Great Commission together. But yeah, I would love to have you guys on as student leaders if you guys are interested. And with that comes another opportunity to be mentored or discipled just at your school. You're having this discipleship here at your guys' church with Pastor Albert and your youth group leaders. But FCA, it's another opportunity for you guys to grow in your faith on a public school campus. And this is what I tell my students all the time. It's really easy to be Christian at church. It's really easy, or it might be easy, to be Christian at your home. However, we're called to be Christian 24/7, right? We're not called to lay off our label as knowing Jesus when we step foot on our schools. And I know the temptations of being in high school, and I know that it's really easy to fall back into those temptations because they're all around you at your guys' school. And so for a leadership team, if you want to be a leader, it's just another way where you can proclaim your faith instead of denying it, and just have a little bit of accountability and the opportunity to grow as a disciple of Jesus. And if you guys don't know what a disciple means, ask Pastor Albert. He'll tell you more on that. I don't want to take more of your guys' time, but hopefully, yeah, you guys, if you're called, you'll reach out. And yeah, essentially that's what I get to do. I get to do all those things and share the good news. Long story short, so if you guys would love to give to the mission and want to support alongside me in this mission, if you guys do have any kind of resources, anything, even if it's you don't have resources but you know your parents do, reach out to your parents and ask them if they would be willing to support me in the mission. We're all commissioned, right? But we are all also co-laborers, which means we're all working together for the Great Commission to make Jesus known throughout the whole world. So if you guys can support me in any way, even in your prayers, it's super important to be praying through every single moment of our life. We're supposed to be praying without ceasing, but if you guys would pray for me and the student leaders and just those schools that I mentioned, that's another way you guys can support me as well. Thank you guys for just considering to support me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to hopefully hearing from some of you.